Hey guys, welcome back. In this 10-minute long video, I'm going to guide you through the process of creating your very own custom stickers using any 3D printer and completely free software. Let's get into it. I got this kit along with my 3D printer for $40. However, you can purchase it online now for just $60 US. It comes with everything you need to get started. The laser module, some safety glasses I'm not sure I trust, some very confusing wiring, a control box and a power cable. Here is the kit out of the box. As you can see, it's extremely simple and just requires some hijacking of your 3D printer stepper motors to work, which seems scary but works a treat. To start, we're going to attach this metal bracket to our laser module, and using this small nut, we're going to make sure it's tight and firmly in place. Next, we're going to remove our glass bed from the Ender 3. This is to avoid damaging it during the engraving process. We can now attach our laser module by hanging it from the extruder and using a 3mm Allen key to secure it in place. I've always found it's smart to move the extruder by hand to ensure it has no room to move before we get going. Now on to the daunting task of connecting this maze of wires to our 3D printer. However, it is actually very simple. We just match the two X-axis to X-axis labels on the cables. These are very easy to pop out, but can be quite fiddly to connect the new wires, as you can see me doing here. Now for swapping the Y-axis cables. As you can see, I've matched the Y labels, unplugged the 3D printer's wires, and then proceeded to reattach our new Y-axis cables just like that. As we've removed our glass bed from the Ender 3, I replaced it with this ceramic tile to ensure I don't engrave into the 3D printer's bed. Then connected up the final wire, which is labeled Z, to the top of the laser module. And just like that, we are done. All that's left to do is plug in our power cable and the USB-C cable into the control box, so we can send essentially instructions to our laser module using our laptop. You can now go ahead and turn on the control box, which gives a beep noise. We can also tell we have set up correctly by seeing this red light on the laser module and hearing the cooling fan spinning. With the setup out of the way, it's on to creating our design. You want to go ahead and search for Canva using Google. Canva is a completely free to use graphic design tool. On the top right, I'm selecting custom size, changing the dimensions to millimeters and making my canvas 90mm by 90mm, which will be the size of my sticker. Once that's loaded up, I'm just going to use a pre-made logo design and drop it into the middle of my canvas and centering it to the middle of the page using the center lines. Now, I want this to be personalized, so I'm going to change the main text to CP and also the bottom text to say C Parker Design. You can do this with any pre-made logo on Canva. I just happen to choose this one. Now, once that's done, we need to change the color of the text to all be black. This is so our laser cutting software recognizes it all as one layer, essentially, and doesn't end up lightly engraving the blue and deeply engraving the black. Once we have completed the design, we're going to go ahead and duplicate the page to have an exact copy. Then we're going to drag and drop in a circle, which will be the outer line for the sticker. You want to center this in the page and scale up the circle until it completely covers the graphic design we just created. Once that looks good, I'm just going to send the design to the back using right click, selecting layer and center back. And I'm going to repeat the process until we can only see the circle. Okay, so now we have our circle, we want to add a border. On the top left of the screen, select borders and click on the solid line. Now we want to change the color of our circle to white. We do this by using the color selector. Once you're happy with the design, its positioning, bring the circle to the front so none of the logo we just created can be seen. And that's it, guys. It's as easy as that, and the possibilities are truly endless. We now want to go ahead and download the two images using the share button on the top right of the page and making sure we have all pages selected. Okay, so now on to step 5. We need a free laser software to turn these images into G-code, which can be used to laser cut. Go ahead and search for laser GRBL on Google, click this top link, find the download section and hit download. I've used this software for 6 months. It's 100% safe, virus free, completely open source, and not to mention fully free. So back to our design files we created. It should have downloaded the 2 images and put them in a zip file. So we need to extract the images from this. Now open up Laser GRBL and on the top left select File. Then click on Open File. We want to engrave the logo first, so that will be the file we select first. Find the correct file, select it, and it should open up our logo.
Number 1.
Just like that. On this first page, we don't need to change anything, so go ahead and hit Next, where it will open up a new box which will allow us to change the laser speed and power. This is the speed I always set to, 1000 millimeters a second.
500.
Below, you will find a box labeled S-Max, which is our laser's power. As we want to etch this design into the sticker, we want to set it to very low power. So, in my case, I'm setting it to 15%, which is 150. Check the file dimensions is correct, 90mm by 90mm, and hit Create. Now we want to go ahead and hit File, Append File. To add a second layer to our G-code, which will be our cut line, select the circle file, open it,
Number 2.
and as before, straight away hit Next. Now, we want this to be the same speed, which was 1000 millimeters a second, but we want to change the laser's power. This is so that it cuts all the way through the material. I think about 80% should work nicely, so I'm changing my S-Max to 800. And that's our final design all ready to go.
Ready for laser cutting.
Now everything's ready to go. We just need to plug in the other side of our USB-C cable into our laptop and power up the control box. Using the ceramic tile, some sticker vinyl, some tape and a pair of scissors, we're going to cut out a square roughly the same size as my tile and tape it to the tile. This is to ensure that the sticker is completely flat, so the laser stays in focus the whole time we're cutting and engraving the material. Any high spots in this sticker material will create inconsistencies with the final outcome, so make sure it's tight and as flat as you can. Now we can load up our material onto the print bed and start laser cutting. There's a small black arm on the side of the laser module that when touching the plate allows for the perfect height to focus the laser beam. Once this is set to the correct height, we're now ready to start cutting. On Laser GRBL, there's a feature called Frame. That allows us to draw a box around our sticker, showing us where the design will be burnt. We do this to ensure that we're cutting onto the vinyl and not elsewhere. So if all of that looks good, grab your super sketchy Chinese laser goggles and press play on Laser GRBL, and it should get straight to work engraving our design. We can preview the progress on our laptop, which shows us a live view of the process. As you can see, it's only engraving the logo so far at 15% power to start. Once it's completed this logo, it will cut the second layer, which is at 80% power, which should cut out the sticker. Here's a quick time lapse. The whole process took around 10 minutes from start to finish. And here's the result of our hard work. Visually, we can see the light grey logo engraved into the vinyl and the much darker outer circle which is cut almost all the way through the material. It turns out 80% power was not enough to cut completely through the vinyl. So here, I'm going to have to use some scissors to cut out our sticker and remove the copious amounts of tape I had to use just to hold it flat onto our tile. And here is the final outcome. I've only been experimenting for a couple of days with this process, so these stickers are nowhere near the level I was expecting. But for a proof of concept, I think they came out great. However, I think the etching is only really visible when reflecting light. In the future, I'd love for these to be multicolored, maybe by repeating the process and using layers upon layers of stickers to create a more visually stimulating outcome. But for the minute, this will do. If you like this tutorial, drop a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more crazy 3D printing experiments, design tutorials, and super sketchy Chinese laser goggles. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.